Welcome back to the programme. And we're heading to eastern Ukraine, where around 1,900 people have been killed or injured by landmines. The ongoing armed conflict between the Ukrainian government and Russian-backed rebels started 4.5 years ago. It's estimated that it could take 15 years to clear the mines after the conflict finally ends. Natalia Lyubchenkov reports.
We are heading to eastern Ukraine, one of the world's most dangerous areas for civilians because of hidden explosive munitions from the ongoing conflict. Lydia Koroleva remembers seeing a tripwire in the local forest.
It glistened. It is thin like a hair. I was told we have to beware. We should not walk here. But I went with the locals. And then I see, what is that glistened?
Koroleva's neighbor barely escaped death while working on land.
I sowed sunflower seeds, and I could obviously see behind the traces where my tractor went. I looked and saw a 70-centimeter missile that lay there. It went right between the tracks of the seeding machine.
Locals reported their finds to the Halo Trust, one of 3 international organizations that conduct humanitarian mine clearance in the region.
This is one of the fields in Donetsk Oblast in eastern Ukraine where humanitarian mine clearance is going on right now. Let's see what it is like.
A one-person armored front loader is about to start excavating the soil from former military positions. For safety reasons, no one can be close to it at this stage. Our camera records while we hide in the bunker, 100 meters away. After the excavation, the soil is checked for unexploded ordnance or anti-vehicle landmines by hand. When the detector beeps, the deminer marks the boundaries of a potentially dangerous object and excavates it.
The security situation prevents us from accessing the densest contaminated areas along the line of contact. Nevertheless, we have been successful recently in accessing with the 15-kilometre buffer zone from the line of contact, and we are now getting into the highest impacted communities along those areas.
On this field in Luhansk region in 2015, 3,500 tons of ammunition blew up at a local warehouse. The impact spread 20 kilometers, taking lives and damaging thousands of homes and other infrastructure. With piercing wind conditions and low temperatures, a mine clearance team are checking a long strip of land by hand, centimeter by centimeter, looking for unexploded ordnance. Usually, they can only check between 10 and 40 square meters per day. Natalia Lyubchenkova from Ukraine for Euronews.
Well, Natalia is now back from eastern Ukraine and joins us in the studio to talk a little bit more about the situation there. Natalia, we can see how dangerous this makes life for people living in the Donbass region. What is it like for civilians now there?
So the organizations that take care of mine clearance in the region, they cannot operate on the territories occupied by Russia-backed separatists and territories that lost so far Ukrainian government control. This means that these areas are the most dangerous because mines are not marked there, so people don't know whether these territories, this forest they go to now is dangerous or not. And obviously the accidents keep happening, and also those organizations cannot operate directly on the contact line which separates two sides of the conflict because of the security situation. This is still an ongoing conflict. That's why obviously this is another threat that people are facing in that region. Accidents are still happening. Just last month, the bus who just went out of the side of the road exploded on the anti-tank landmine, and people got killed. So this keeps happening, and also for farmers it's very difficult. They probably risk their lives most when they try basically consistently work on land, and many of them lost their lives and got injured. Kids, if they play without any alone, they just also face this threat all the time.
It's absolutely devastating, and the fact that it could take up to 15 years to clear these is is extremely difficult to look at. Why does it take so long?
It will take at least 15 years or even more. Sometimes I say maybe 15 years for 1 year of an active conflict. It takes so long because the mine clearance teams have to explore every signal from a detector. They first have to understand where the threat is. Then when they explore every centimeter of land and each signal they hear, they have to excavate and see what is in the ground. And sometimes it's just a small piece of metal, and sometimes it's really a landmine or other unexploded ordnance. So this is a really painstaking process.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thank you very much for bringing us those thoughts from your trip to eastern Ukraine. And Natalia Lubchenkova.